Hello, welcome to the homework review for homework 4.3, Finding Missing Parts, ACE Problems 5 through 12. This week in class we've been talking about ratios and how that's another tool to help us determine if two shapes are similar. We can use ratios and corresponding angles, or we can use scale factor and corresponding angles. Now that we're comfortable with that, we're going to kind of turn it around and we're going to be told that two shapes are similar, and we're going to use either ratios or scale factor to determine the missing parts. The first one is two triangles. They're aligned in the same manner, so you don't have to worry about flipping any shapes or anything, so your corresponding sides line up nice and well, perfectly. And so I can tell just by looking at this one that the shortest side is 1.5 to 3, the medium side is 2 to 4, and the longer side is A to 5. So looking at 2 to 4 and 1.5 to 3, I can tell that my scale factor is 2. So that's the first thing that jumps out at me. So that's what I'm going to use for this one. If our scale factor from the smaller to the larger is 2, then our larger to the smaller is 1/2. So half of 5 is 2.5. So that's how you'd figure that one out. We need to use ratios for 6 because it's an easy scale factor, doesn't jump out at me. We can say 2 to 7, so the scale factor would be 3.5. But I can also say that I can use a ratio on this one. So the ratio of 10.5 to 7, which is our long side to our short side, is equal to b over 2. So that gives us b equals 2.2 times 1.5, so 3 centimeters. So b equals 3 centimeters on this one. 7, all we have is a missing angle. And because we said that they're already similar, we know that corresponding angles are the same on similar shapes. So C has to be 60 degrees because it corresponds with the 60 degrees in our other triangle. This is another ratio one. We could use, again, scale factor and figure out how much 3 times what gives you 5. But I like just using 10 over 3 equals D over 5. And so D is 50 divided by 3, or 16.7 centimeters. That's how you find D on that one. Moving on, for exercises 9 through 11, rectangles A and B are similar. What is the value of x? Now this is one of those cases where they're not lined up right, so you don't want to confuse and think that 3 corresponds with 20 because it doesn't. 5 corresponds with 20. So if you flipped this one on its side, you see that the short side is 3, which corresponds with x. The long side is 5, which corresponds with 20. So I can tell that the scale factor is 4 because 5 times 4 is 20. So 3 times 4 must be 12 to give us x, so b is 12. And we just answered 10 that our scale factor is 4, that the larger rectangle is 4 times the smaller rectangle. Find the area. The original area is 3 times 5 is 15. We now know that this is 12, so our new area is 12 times 20, or 240 feet. So we've gone from an area of 14 feet to an area of 240 feet. So that's 16 times the area. The larger rectangle is 16 times the smaller rectangle, which makes sense because our scale factor is 4 and the area is 4 times 4 bigger, 4 squared bigger, so that makes sense. Looking at 12, 2 rectangles again, and again they're not lined up right, so you might want to flip D on your paper so that you can see what it looks like. What is the value of x? Well, it looks like I'm going from 4 to 8, so our scale factor is 2. So if I'm going 4 to 8 is 2, then 1 times 2 is 2, so x is 2. What's the scale factor from C to D? Now we're going from the larger to the smaller. So if it's 2 going from the smaller to the larger, then it's going to be 1/2 going from the larger to the smaller. Finding the area again, we're just multiplying. D was 4. 8 times 2 is 16, so we're going from 4 to 16 in area. So 4 of the original smaller rectangles will fit into the larger rectangle, which again is the scale factor squared. Or if you think about it the other way, the smaller one is 1/4 the area of the larger one. And I think that's it. Our secret word will be Otto, O-T-T-O, because it was the Otto Pizza fundraiser night for Mahoney last night. So O-T-T-O. Thank you.